I'm Phoenix Wright, and I have a good understanding of time.
I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir.
Oh, time? Well,
Mr. Relativity.
Oh! You mean that, sir? Of course, sir.
There you go.
He is Mr. Relativity.
Is this a joke?
Yes.
Thanks for clarifying.
Always a joke.
Very well, begin your testimony.
Mystery Man 2. Mystery Man
Electric
2.
Boogaloo. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. That was very formal language for me. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. No one could have stolen it.
Impossible.
An ID card record. I see.
I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. Ignore the fact that I'm on it. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim.
Just before the crime, Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were so few people using this room?
This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff.
Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end.
Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference.
Jesus.
There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon.
Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination.
Mystery Man 2. Hold it! So, unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you?
Yes, sir. Solid as stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I'd even give the V for victory sign, sir.
You have another hand.
I'm using that for my...
Couldn't he just use his right hand for that?
Same hat.
What?
Let's hear him out fully. As we've seen, no one ever knows what he might say until the very last second.
Me
Larry?
too. No, you don't know what Larry said even after he said it.
That's true.
Hold it! Is that card hanging from your neck one of those ID cards?
Yes, sir. This card right next to my cuffs, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it.
But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that?
Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. I mean, who's gonna... Remember I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time it's my ID card that gets stuck. The door closing my ID card chokes me.
Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this.
Please proceed with your testimony.
Hold it! Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to.
Let me see. Yes, that would be it. Detective Goodman?
What's the matter?
According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here.
I told you to ignore that.
man.
So it
When in
is,
doubt,
Your Honor.
bow.
Why did he bow for that? Why did he bow for that? Not that prosecutor again. Hey, maybe he's behind all this. Being a prosecutor, he could hide the evidence. Mommy, is that man in blue a murderer? Why am I the only one doing these voices? Shh, don't stare at him!
Chaotic last time.
Got the wrong
Because
color,
it was-
kid.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was better or worse than last time.
I think it was weird that I...
Nah, it was fine. It would seem. The inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today.
Oof.
I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions, or their consequences.
Oh.
For now, let us continue with the cross-examination.
Poor Mr. Edgeworth. It must be so difficult for him.
Just generally. Hold it! Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you.
Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir.
Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife.
Maybe he just panicked?
Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out.
Mr. Wright, what do you think?
I'm confused.
What?
The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this.
You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show him what we've got.
What have we got?
That's a solid question. I hate that they're like, it's super obvious, and I'm like,
You're like, oh, I don't know about that.
Our evidence. We have so much of it.
God.
We have too much evidence.
One other thing. It proves it was Goodman. You have to use your ID card. There's a record of it. The detective used his card. That's it.
I mean, I guess
Maybe
we
it's just
have
that
the
we
ID
have
card.
the
I don't really
card?
know if that, yeah. It's super
Um,
helpful.
Should
I guess we... Oh! His ID card was here. But I guess we don't know when it arrived.
I would say presenting the ID on, like, probably the last one. Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Objection! Smart. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins.
I'm not good at waiting, sir.
I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene.
That makes sense.
Mm-mm. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card.
A lost item report? It's only half completed.
But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Wow, why wouldn't he do that?
Order! Order! So now, what does this all mean?
It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. My god. the man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Wow, theft.
Oh my god.
That's worse than murder.
Order! 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 Does the prosecution have a response?
No. I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo? Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes.
What are you
What's
up to,
he
you
up
smug
to?
bitch?
Oh.
You smug bitch!
What are you up to, you smug bitch?
Thank you.
That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago, you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well, he said out loud.
Why didn't you just think that, dude?
Well, well, it seems you've finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove.
Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth.
The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime.
So
the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Ms. Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Ah!
oh my god.
He got fucking played, I guess. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning.
The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman.
Just so, Your Honor.
Mr. Wright, you have to do something, or else Lana...
What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess?
Mia, help. I mean, object.
Objection! One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Long, awkward silence.
Yeah.
I like to imagine that this video has just been playing on a loop the entire time.
Just
Music
on
and
the
all.
TVing for it.
Everyone just looks at it for a long moment. Cinematography. However, It cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter.
Mr. Edgeworth,
Yes, Your Honor.
if the court were to examine this further, other witnesses would be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand.
Hey, yo.
Mr. Wright, do you mean
Day 2 of
No,
court be like
the other
interrogate
other
Sabine.
Texas Ranger?
Yeah.
Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness.
Oh? Whom do you have in mind?
Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth
Oh.
behind the activities that took place in the evidence room.
Oh?
The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify. What is their name?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bruce Goodman.
Yep, it's Bruce Goodman.
We're gonna channel his
We need
spirit.
Maya back.
Mike Meekins. Again.
Aw.
Jesus.
I mean,
Angel Star.
thinks
Again.
he's a
Yeah.
cowboy.
God.
Take that!
Like he's 7 years old.
Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare.
But it takes 30 minutes to get.
Wait a second.
Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time?
He's gonna be driving.
It's only gonna take 30 minutes for him to get here.
We will, Your Honor. I'll call
Edgeworth
him.
doesn't have to drive there himself.
No, the witness is gonna be driving. From the police department.
Yeah.
So how is he gonna get prepped while he's driving?
Phone call?
I
Yeah.
can see.
Court is now in recess.
My utter defeat. Oh, man.
Is she back?
There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What do you mean? I'm totally stoppable.
You called for Jake Marshall.
I sure did.
Seems you figured everything out. There's 3 days to this trial, so...
I haven't figured anything out. I'm sure we won't need the 3rd day.
Lana. You're the one who knows everything.
Emma,
You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you.
I I don't recall ever asking for his protection.
You did hire me.
How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me?
I mean, apparently not.
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals.
Jesus.
Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later.
Ah.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe. What is it? Phases back in. You got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals.
Sorry, Detective.
You better be, pal. Hey! I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky. Jesus, I'm sorry.
That was really good.
That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked?
Every time I thought it was over, there was another hey. You mean this, right?
Me too.
God, really asking a lot of me here.
My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request.
My name?
Why would you do
It's fine.
that?
Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files?
Thank God.
I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident?
But Lana, that's...
I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here.
See, this is what a thick file looks like. Von Karma?
3-page DL6 summary.
Yeah.
Here, you might do well to read them.
I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case. Miss
Oh.
Sky was a witness? The Joe Dark killings. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders.
I don't think you have to take that advice from anyone. You should just know.
Oh, what? Now that I've brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me? Emma? But why? Why is your name in here?
What? My name's in there? I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that... Oh, fuck.
That's the classification number the police filed it under.
Gumshoe pats her on the back.
2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings.
The Joe Dark... No. No, Lana. That's over with. No!
Emma, wait! She ran away.
Oh man.
You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here. Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence.
Knowing you, you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck.
I'd better take a good look at this file. Take a closer look at that file.
Jesus.